All right, it's Brian Powell from I Run Far here behind the camera with Anton Krupicka, 50-mile USATF champion and two-time Leadville champion. How are you today, Tony?
I'm excellent. Enjoying the sunshine.
Yeah, it's a nice day up here in Leadville. Speaking of Leadville, after a year off from running Leadville, you're back this year. What brings you back?
The course record, basically. I would say that I was inspired to run Leadville 3 years ago, the first time, by Matt's run in 2005. I don't know what it was about it, just kind of the paradigm shift that occurred when he ran 15:42 here 4 years ago. It was inspiring. I mean, I'd always wanted to do ultras, but Leadville kind of had this specter in my mind then. And ever since I've run the race, I've felt like I have the ability to go after that record, so I'm still working on it, and that's why I'm back. The only reason I skipped last year is because I was injured.
Yeah, so you're chasing Matt's ghost on the course a little bit this weekend, and
absolutely, yeah.
Who might be chasing you? Who are some of the top competitors out there? Obviously, you've got to be, among the favorites, but who else?
Sure. I think there's a number of guys. I mean, first off, you have the returning champion, Duncan Callahan. I've raced him a couple times this year. We ran together at the Leadville Marathon about a month ago. He looks like he's at least as strong as he was last year, probably stronger. So he should be probably in the 17-hour range. His training partner, Timmy Parr, is running his first 100, and he just ran an excellent time at the Pikes Peak Ascent this past weekend. I think the fastest non-Matt Carpenter time since sometime in the mid-90s or late 90s. So that's someone you can't discount because people are like, oh, it's his first 100. It's like, well, you got to do one sometime. And I mean, yeah, everyone has different experiences their first 100. People generally have a pretty bad patch in their first 100 at some point. I did. Matt certainly did. But it's just how you end up responding to that and dealing with it. And it'll be interesting to see what Tim does this weekend. And then beyond that, it's going to be an excellent race from like 2 through 5, I think, with guys like A. Jones Wilkins. What can you say about AJW? He knows how to run hundreds. You got Duncan. Yeah, it's going to be good.
So speaking of White River, can you tell us a little bit about your race there? You obviously won and beat Uli Steidl's course record, which bodes well for being able to possibly break the record here.
It does, yeah.
I mean, Uli and Matt are the two top fast marathoners who've stepped up into the trail ultra scene, and you beat one of them other time.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Uli and Matt, you just look at the North Face 50, it's like, when the big money is being offered, it's like, who comes out of the woodwork, and it's Uli and Matt, and they're heads and shoulders above everyone else. Well, not, head and shoulders, but they're clear favorites.
They don't get beat.
They don't get beat, exactly. And so it was certainly a confidence boost to run faster than Uli at White River. I mean, I knew I could run maybe within 10 minutes of his time, but I wasn't expecting to run that fast, quite that fast. But it's always hard to tell, coming from 10,000 feet, not doing any speed work, dropping down to 2,000 feet in White River. So yeah, that was a fun race. I was aware of his splits on the course, his 8-station splits, and when I was hitting them early on, I was like, well, of course, it's early. It's not hard to hit Uli splits. And when I kept hitting them and then was exceeding them on the second climb, yeah, I was just having a good day, And I think my climbing's really improved this year as a result of running up a mountain most days.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about your training this year?
Yeah.
When did you start this training? Obviously, you've had some injuries early in the year, but when did you start training for the Leadville 100?
Right. Oh, when did I start training? About 15 years ago.
Yeah.
First weekend of June, I started ramping up the training a bit, but with a very conscious mind towards being reasonable in the volume and remaining healthy, because I've been injured for so long. I was just so frustrated with being hurt that I just wanted to appreciate the fact that I was healthy to go running in the mountains every day this summer, because that's really what's most important to me. So I kept the volume a lot more under control this year for the past, I guess, 10 weeks since the beginning of June, 11 weeks, something like that. And it's been super consistent. Right, I think I've had, before tapering the past 10 days or so, I had probably 9 or 10 weeks in a row all above 150 miles, but you know, and 2 of those peaked right around like the low end 80s, but most of them are like 151 to like 160. But the mileage wasn't so important because all of it was above 10,000 feet. Most, you know, up between 10 and 14,000 feet, and a lot of big verticals. Like most days, I was doing like a 4,000-foot climb. So I was doing about 21, 22, up to 25 hours a week of running. Whereas in the past, I've done more like 30 plus and like 200 plus miles a week, which I've just realized isn't necessary. Doesn't add a whole lot more enjoyment to my life. And it just, you know, it makes you much more prone to.
So you're feeling pretty fresh and injury-free going into Leadville this year?
Yeah, you know, there's been a couple little things all summer, just little things here and there, but right now I'm 100%, like absolutely injury-free. Been climbing, doing some mountain runs that, yeah, all summer long my times up, you know, Mount Massive and Mount Elbert have been improving, which has been encouraging up until I started tapering. I'm certainly more fit than I was even at White River, which is exciting.
Yeah, you ran some pretty impressive splits to and from the turnaround at Winfield in the last couple weeks.
Yeah. So in addition to like going to run up a mountain most days, on the weekends I do long runs. And since White River, I've put in 2 50-mile training runs, one from Leadville to Winfield and one from Winfield back to Leadville. And those are just sort of like to get an idea of like what a comfortable pace is on the course itself, you know, what I should be able to expect for splits. And that's pretty, for the first half of the course, that's pretty indicative, you know, because you're fresh for the first half in a 100-miler. And I hit a bit over 7 hours there, like 7:11. But it was a good run. And then a week later, came back and ran from Winfield back to town, just under 7 hours, 6:58. I was really happy with that because 2 years ago, I'd done that same exact run 2 weeks out from the race and hit 7:26, and then 2 weeks later ran 16:14. So it's like, well, run a half hour faster.
Half hour faster over 50 miles.
Over 50.
That bodes well for...
It bodes well, exactly. You know, like, certainly sub 16 is the least of my goals.
Nice. So are you
PR on the course.
Are you going to, you know, in terms of race strategy, are you just going to go run your own race? Are you going to try to run a certain set of splits?
Yeah, no, I think in a 100-mile race, at least for me, it's all about being extremely in tune with what my body's telling me on race day and responding to that with, you know, pace, fuel, liquid, salt, and not getting caught up in what other people are doing. It's like, yeah, so if someone else wants to run 7:30 to Winfield, great, you know, that's fine with me because that's what I know I can do comfortably. And if they're there with me, well, we'll see if they're there for the second 50 miles.
Yeah.
You know, like, who knows? I mean, I'm going to try and find out if I can be there for the second 50.
Yeah, so what are you going to be wearing on your feet this...
I just got some shoes from New Balance that are excellent. I'm very excited about them. They're a custom-made pair of the forthcoming MT100, which is New Balance's brand spanking new mountain trail racing flat. Buddy of mine, Kyle Skaggs, and I had a very strong hand in developing and designing this shoe. They almost listened to us exactly what we wanted, so it's really exciting. It's the shoe I'm wearing is just got a few custom tweaks to it to make it a little bit lighter and a little bit more to my liking. But the citizen pairs of those should be on shelves, I think, October 1st. But this might be the maiden. Well, no, Eric Skaggs, who also runs for New Balance, has run a few races in the 100s as well. But this is certainly the first 100-mile race that the 100s will be exposed to.
You should give them a good test this weekend,
Tony. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm excited about those. Those shoes are sweet. They're my particular pair, after a couple modifications, are going to clock in around 5.5 ounces. So
they won't be. You'll be carrying more gel than you will shoe.
Absolutely. I will be carrying more gel than shoe, or as much gel as shoe. Put it that way.
Well, Anton, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today, and good luck this weekend. Thanks for chatting with iRunFar.com, your source for mud, mountains, miles, and more. Have a great day.